Okay, folks, Saturday morning edition. Well, as I stated, we're going to do some dustings and some drippings. But I'm going to move some stuff off to the side that we're not messing with anymore. There's the one step I was missing. Plugging the computer on. When you move the computer, it gets out of place, and there's things that are normally always connected get disconnected. And I ended up working on my more on my Crusader chart yesterday, and I didn't do it here. Hey, Marcus, what happened? Okay, let's move these guys out of the way that we're done with. For the most part. A13, we still need unit markings for the A13. This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. That one as well. The roach coaches and the 25 pounders. Okay. All right, so we're going to do a little Morris truck and finish up this this half track, and then we're going to jump on the Germans. And a thing I did different on the Germans accidentally is because when I painted this, it kind of happened by accident. I kind of winged it. It was already gray. I ended up doing the tone that's supposed to be the lighter one on top of it. It just didn't look right. It almost looked like a pinkish white sand gulb or something like that. I'm like, it's got to look more yellow than that. So I threw in the green ochre as a dusting on top of it, and then I gave it the brown wash. And I did the brown wash before I did the ochre. So will it make a difference? Probably. But now we'll experiment and see if it makes a difference. If not, we'll go back, do the ochre, give it a brown wash again, and move forward. But I do need to glue this wheel, this insolent wheel that broke off, wherever the hell it went. There it is. I just threw a bunch of 25 pounders on top of it. So let me glue that before I go further. So when we get to these armored cars for the Nazis, we can we'll be able to work on them. Yeah, I had too much caffeine yesterday, and I went to bed at a reasonable time, but I woke up lots of times at night. And I swear, every time I woke up, it was some dream about the Crusaders and what regiment they were in. I was like, it's better than having a work dream. Okay. This should do it. And if this doesn't work, then we'll use epoxy. This was one of the casualties of this, my whole tray falling on the ground accidentally. Actually, this was the only casualty. But like I've said before, I'm probably never going to build another dragon kit. They're too delicate. Yeah, this isn't going to work, is it? We're going to have to epoxy the hell out of this shit. You dream of some honeys a few days ago. Yep. Oh, some honeys? Which kind of honeys? I never have those kind of dreams. You got the one paint scheme for the honeys from, I want to say it's around the Ghazala period, that's just wacky. I don't know if it's right, but it's in a model kit. Who the hell is the model kit by? It's really, really weird. And it's ugly too. And it's the only example I've seen of it. This is going to call for epoxy. Yep. Okay. Well, I might as well do it now. You know what? I'm not going to do it now. I'm gonna paint it, and then after it's done painted, then I'll glue it together. That way, there's no extra stresses on it. There. Okay. The seat. I'm gonna see what the seat on this Beaufort is. If it's just a flat color. Um, 40mm Beaufort's AA Desert. If I can't find the answer, I'm going to leave it unpainted. I don't think this stuff was made for comfort. It's like, Sergeant, my bottom hurts. Oh, get on with it. Yeah, I'm not going to paint it. All right, one thing we do need to do is we need to paint these shell casings that are in there. So let's get our shell casing colors. Things I used to use a lot in doing ancients and medievals, and I rarely use anymore. Old gold and bronze. Bronze. Yep. And we're going to need a little bit of Mr. Black here. Yeah, today's not going to be a fun day. It's going to be a lot of driving and then moving stuff and then moving it back. And then making it so I can't get my car in the garage. But we'll try to do something positive first. feeling that the very top of that, I don't think that's supposed to be a shell casing. It's got like a bracket across the top of it. I could be wrong though. I've been wrong before. Yeah, show me a. Oh, Zvezda makes one too? Zvezdas are really brittle. Oh, there's little lights on the front of this? No, not this one. This one, yes, but not that one. Okay, well, I'm going to paint that top one like it's a shell then. Yeah, I can always repaint it if I change my mind. I'm touching up the paint job on those cows you saw in the background of that picture. I've been selectively repainting things from my childhood HO scale train set. Man, but that's some small cows because sometimes the HO scale stuff looks okay, and sometimes it's like really small, and a lot of it has to do with I think the girth of it. Wargaming stuff is just so hefty compared to train things. Okay, that looks better. All right, so we're going to roll with that. All right, and then we've got the regular brass that we're going to come in here. I don't know what color the tip is on these things. Probably black. That's what we're going to go with. Probably doesn't look that bad if you're using like plastic figures because they're more realistically shaped than the white metal ones. So if you're going to mix something that's, it probably would look better. So, good morning, Ben. Are you a airbrush expert yet? Oh, I didn't take my own advice. I put old gold instead of bronze. What the hell's wrong with it? Or did I? No, this was just sitting out here. That's what it was. Man, have a drink. I'd airbrush with you, but I think it's too cold. Not for me, but for the airbrush. Well, if I needed to airbrush something, I still would. Not that cold in the garage. It's probably not colder than the 50s. Should be able to airbrush in the 50s. In the 1950s, in the 1950s you can't airbrush. No, in the temperature 50s. Should probably be okay. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to come in. Let's paint the tips. I just did some varnishing. Have to get the hang of recognizing what was covered and what wasn't. Yep. You just have to assume that it's covered and just go over it super light. It was colder here and it worked fine. Yeah. I've actually never had a frosting issue, even with the spray paint. Now I haven't. I've done it cold, but I haven't. Humidity has never been an issue. As a matter of fact, there was a rainstorm one time, and I was using spray paints, and I was in the covered garage, and the humidity's damn near 100%, and it wasn't an issue. But I'm spraying really thin. Okay, and then we come over here to the other side. This is why you could actually make this with like an enclosed top to it. I figured have it open to give you something to look at. I believe the correct terminology is eye candy. I don't know if that's actually a circular part on the front of this gun shield, or that's just a part that should have. It's a mold issue, but I'm not going to accentuate it, and I didn't want to take it off because I'd lose 2 rivets doing it in the process. So we're just going to move on, paint over it, and not accentuate it. What was that tea called? PG something? Monkey? The Monkey. Monkey was cute. Maybe it was annoying as shit. They sometimes was like, hey, you just leave that right there. No, they had to take it farther, didn't they? Well, advertisers specifically make things annoying here in the United States. That's always been the case. But the new thing is they make things awkward. There's awkward commercials here, like Geico commercials. I don't have Geico insurance, and I would think twice about getting them because their commercials are a waste of the human race watching them. They're unfunny, and they have nothing to do with they're not even humorous or anything like that. No, monkey was wholesome. No, it was a monkey. A wholesome monkey. The monkey was wholesome. The guy who had his hand up his ass was the one that was the pervert. Oh man. What does that sound? Like somebody on the highway, but highway's pretty far. If I'm hearing you on the highway, you're making way too much of a racket. Yeah, monkeys are a problem, man, because you know, they're too smart for their own good, and you got to be careful, man. They could. I've never had a monkey incident, luckily, but there's been people that have had monkey incidents, and man, they're pretty sharp for somebody running around naked. You know, you got to watch out for those. Like I think that would be a terrible pet. They're up to no good. You go to work, come back, and your monkey's playing with your Third Reich stuff, and even has a little mustache on him or something like that. I mean, like they're trouble. I'm sure they get the Third Reich. Yes, because I have crooked spiders everywhere. Yeah, so we got to go on like a 2 hour road trip in a Bubba truck, like an F-150 or something like that, or like my daughter called them one time. She goes, "Yeah, look at that. It's a Ford Fizo." I'm like, "What? A Ford Fizo? You mean an F-150?" She laughed. We don't have any trucks, so Ford Fizo. She's got to go pick up some things from her dorm that don't fit in a vehicle that we have. You're borrowing a truck, so we'll go down there and come back. And I don't think I'm gonna make a case for stopping at Spray Gunner. I don't think I need anything. We got some thick stuff here. Man, this would be a pain if I had to make like 6 of these. Well, not a pain. It would just take forever. Actually, I don't want to build. I don't want to build another one of them. It took too long. It wasn't a bad experience. I just thought, oh, this will take 3 hours. The hell, it took 6. I was way off on my estimate. Give this to that 8-year-old. I don't ever want to build a model again. Don't make me build a bottle model. I don't want to do another one. That's a long time commitment. Kid to be scarred for life and never want to build another model. I remember I got quite a few models. I don't know why. I think it was just the thing to do. In the late 70s when I lived in Alabama, I'd get cars and I got a van one time that had like Luke Skywalker on the side of it as an NPC van. Maybe you remember that one, Marcus. It was an NPC van with Luke Skywalker on it. And I remember that decal whooped my ass. You're not prepared to put decals on when you're 9 years old. Let's see. It's back like, what does this van have to do with Star Wars? I bet I can find it immediately. Luke Skywalker NPC vans, white, obviously. Here you go. It goes for $100 on eBay. No, it doesn't go for $100 on eBay. Some jackass wants to sell it for $100 on eBay. That's a difference. Yeah, this. Now, all of this was like one decal, and you can't put that on. Yeah, includes glow in the dark decals. That's right. They were like weird, like thick and stuff, like gritty. Look like sandpaper. For ages 8 to adult. I'm telling you, an 8-year old can't put that shit together. Think I tried only one model car. I did a terrible job with the paint. It certainly wasn't a love van with that decal. The force is with you. I know, but I want it in me. A shaggin' van. We didn't think about those things. We were 9 years old. That shit's weird when you're 9. Um, Cars. So, in the hobby club, in the model group that I go every month, there's a fair number of people who do cars. And one of the things that I'm surprised of, I mean, I think the plain people outnumber everybody. Then the tanks, then the cars. Cars are definitely a third. But one thing I didn't realize is a lot of folks, they don't even paint their cars. They just polish the plastic they come in as the main color. I thought that was pretty sharp. That's like, I mean, I probably wouldn't do that, but it wouldn't have occurred to me, you know? Imagine bringing a lady back to that. Come on, babe. I got to glow in the dark lightsaber decals. Yeah, well, it probably appeals to somebody. There's some nerd chicks out there, man. I mean, I've never liked dumb girls. Smart girls are hot. But a nerd chick, that's just weird. That means she smells of BO too. Like, not cool, man. Not cool. What's that girl that everybody goes gaga for? This the gamer girl with the red hair. She's like Irish or something like that. I mean, she's cute, but you know, nah. I don't want my significant other to be into my hobbies. You know, I do this to get away from the real world, from my responsibilities. Now, it would be pretty hot to be with some girl that was into history. But then she'd, use words like patriarchy and stuff like that, and I'd be like, I gotta go, man. I left something on the stove, and I don't even cook. That's not the hole you're looking for. Move along. Move along, sir. Mind the gap. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not into nerdy chicks like that. My mother-in-law travels a lot. And when I mean a lot, I mean she travels a fucking lot. Um, and one of the things that she's famous for is going to churches. I actually haven't traveled with her. She travels with her her boyfriend. Anyhow, And she goes to churches like galore. So I told my wife, said, if we go to Spain, I'm going to be your mom's equivalent, but I'm going to be the castle hunter. Like, what's that over there? Let's go check out that castle. I say that, but I feel like we're going to be really pressed for time. And I'm like really pressed. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be a vacation that I'm going to need a vacation from. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to, being so tired from time off that you need time off. All right, now let me step away from this and see how we're looking. I got a video that was requested to me just by surfing on just I turn on Google to go look for something about Crusader tanks, and I get this ad about some controversial ad. So of course I gotta watch it. Some controversial ad with Nike, the WNBA, and Alexander the Great. And I don't know if this just came out or not because I don't really watch advertising because it's like on television, and like, when do I watch television, right? I'm going, why is this so controversial? Like, it doesn't bother me at all. They wanted to like downplay Alexander the Great. Like, more people watch Alexander the Great history videos than they do the WNBA. Whatever, doesn't bother me at all. Here's where the thick drippings. I don't like how these tires came out. I think I actually, when I went and dry brushed this, I used a dry brush so it was a little too wet. So we're going to tone this down by adding some black to it. And then we should be, of course, it's going to look like crap because it's shiny. But that shiny will come off. Yeah, that's better. We need to tone that down a little bit. Yeah, like, I don't watch women's sports because I don't watch men's sports. Why would I watch women's sports if I don't watch men's sports? You know, they're doing some kind of super physical activity that most people can't do, and you're sitting around on the couch eating Cheetos and getting the yellow dust everywhere. Like, you know, lingerie football has an appeal. I don't know. Some of those girls, not that I've really watched it, but some of those girls are a bit too. They could kick my ass. Let's put it that way. I prefer ladies that don't kick my ass, and I'm not exactly a badass, but still. You know, if I had to watch women's sports, I'd be like, let's see, what's that thing that they jump over that the high jump? That. But I don't watch women. I don't watch men's sports. I don't watch the Olympics. What's the other thing that they do? The pole vaulting, and high jump. Okay. Now, there's some seats here that look cushiony. Well, we said we were going to do drippings. That's what we need to do. This thing's dripped out already. Let's get some drippy colors out here. Strong tone. What's this? Oh, this is an old Agrax? Is this the one that was the crap formula? Oh, it's gotten thick. I bet it is. I thought I was done with Agrax. That could have been bad. I'd have been like, damn you, Nottingham. Isn't that where it's from? Yep. Nottingham. It's different. Let's mess with that. And then we have the, no, not mid brown. Mid brown's not very useful. Light tone. I posted some of my stuff as one guy goes, what kind of enamels did you use? I don't use enamels at all. Really? I said, yeah, you can, oh man. I can do the same thing with these wheels. Sons of bitches. All right. One small into the reach. Might as well do it. Got to do it anyways. I don't use enamels. Enamels are a pain in the ass. They stink. Literally, they stink. The thinner form isn't free. And it's no longer the 1970s. What's up, GB? How's it going, eh? You missed yesterday's show, man. It featured some prominent Canadian stuff in it. Although there's a damn good chance I'm going to turn my M4A4 Shermans into Canadian Shermans at some point in the future. I'm going to re-decal them. Snow. Yeah, beautiful, but if you got to shovel that stuff on the weekend, enjoy. I've never had to shovel snow, and I don't think that's something that's I'm looking forward to in the future that I'm going to be doing in the future. Regardless of where we may move if we retire. As my wife says, like, well, we're going to retire wherever my daughter lives. So, well, my daughter's not going to live in certain states. There's some states I'm not going to live in. Every day, shoveling every day. That sucks. It's beautiful though. For us, the way you guys like coming here and looking at a swamp. Oh, it's a fucking swamp. Okay? Not only is it a swamp, there's not even an ogre that lives in it. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, it's a beautiful pile of shit. Oh, okay. It's like you're probably tired of snow, like white shit everywhere. You can't even snort it. Okay, that's better. We toned that shit down. All right, I think we need to do the dusting. Let me get some of the sand before I get there, because I don't want to do this afterwards. The Everglades or anything. There's lots of places that are swampy in Florida. There's lots of places that are swampy, probably everywhere. Yeah, we thinned that down a little too much. Like, there's got to be stuff that you guys have in Canada all the time, and people that don't live in Canada go like, "Wow, this is amazing," and you're like, "Really? This is crap." Maybe it's Tim Hortons. I don't know. I've never been in a Tim Hortons, so just something. Stuff that outsiders are probably like, "Man, this stuff's amazing." You're like, "What's the big deal, moron?" I think every place has things like that. For us, it'd be like orange juice. Like, what's the big deal? It's just orange juice. I never drink it. All that super sugar you don't need. Isn't Tim Hortons just like a Perkins, basically? It's got to be better than a Perkins. For Marcus, it'd be the Subway. Oh, the Subway! Like, although the Subway in DC is a lot nicer, and it's still run down. I went to DC last time. I was like, "Man, have they ever changed the carpet in here?" And of course, the answer is no. Like, why would there even be carpet on a Subway thing? Floor covering like that should be like, what's the easiest thing to like wipe up, throw up? Put that down. Same thing with restaurants. There'll be a restaurant, there'll be a carpet. Why does a restaurant have carpeted? So if there's a spill and it gets soaked up, right, and people don't slip and fall, that's the only reason I can think of, because it's freaking nasty, man. You get a spill and it gets under the carpet and it just smells like milk, and the convenience of the North City subway bus system is amazing. Looks aren't great. Lots of personality underground, though. I don't know if I'd want to take a bus. I have bad childhood experiences with a bus. Show me on this bus where it touched you. No, not like that. I just, I'm not a fan of taking buses. The subway's fine. The subway's actually, with Google Maps and stuff where it has all the subway maps superimposed on there. We didn't have any, and then me, we didn't have any trouble getting along. I mean, give me a map and we can get anywhere. I mean, shit, I get places before there was maps around. But, yeah, I liked it. I tell you what, though, when we were waiting for a subway, I held on. My daughter stayed away from the tracks. I can just see some lunatic, some guy that's like arguing with himself, just like pushing people in the tracks. I mean, you know, you guys just breed crazy people out there. Not you guys. You're not from there. But I didn't feel like the subway was dangerous. But I wasn't really going anywhere I shouldn't have been going. And you got to admit, the reason that the subway and the bus are convenient is because not riding them is really inconvenient. When you go back to Virginia, you're like, man, I can't wait to ride the bus here. Like, no, you just get in the car. Although we took an Uber a couple times, and then that person's got to deal with parking, crashing their car, or whatever. I think, if I remember correctly, one of our Uber drivers ended up like getting into a shouting match with some person on a bike. Ah, there's that Yankee hospitality we love so much. The lovable manners of people above the Mason-Dixon line. Oh, there are some stations that are known for their performing artists. As you might imagine in New York, many are pros. Busking. Man, you didn't know that word in Virginia. Busking. I learned everything I know about New York from watching Sesame Street back in the 70s. Busking, meaning. The activity of playing music in the street or another public place for voluntary donations. Oh, homeless people with a talent. Years of busking had taught him how to hold a crowd. There's a guy, we got a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of homeless people everywhere. In the last, I think, 10 years, it's exploded. And there's a guy that I would always he'd always be sitting in an intersection. He'd be juggling. And I always tell my wife, it's like, why doesn't he get a job, man? It's a lot easier than fucking juggling. Like, I can't juggle. I've held a job for 30 years. 30 plus years. I can't juggle. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. I mean, there's a lot of things harder than sleeping under a bridge. A lot of things easier than sleeping under a bridge. I go do that. And they always say, well, you can't haul them off. They have a right to be here. Well, the problem is if they run into your car, then you got a problem. But there's nothing we can do. There actually is something you can do. There's actually something you can do about the home. But see, nobody comes to me with these questions. You want to deal with a problem with panhandling. How do you get rid of panhandlers? Is, well, you can't arrest the people that are panhandling. You're right, you can't, because then they just get free room and board. But you can slap a $5,000 fine on anybody who gets seen giving them money. So, I don't know. In the last 10 years, it's exploded everywhere. There's a, well, this was 30 years ago. There's a friend of mine I used to go to concerts with here in town, and he was super aggressive with them, almost like, one of these guys is going to shoot us, and I don't have a gun yet, so, But they'd come up and talk to him, and he'd be like, "No, get away!" Like he'd decibel level, like out of control. Like maybe thinking, like, I guess maybe fight crazy with crazy. Like, man, I better not mess with that guy. That guy's crazy. Okay, I think that's all we need to do there on that. Now, I will take some of this ever so slightly amount of pale sand, ever so slightly, and that should be enough, I hope. Yeah, I better be careful I don't run out of this stuff. I'm going to have to jump the picket lines to get more. I've had this stuff for 20 years and just now using it for the first time. Had to step away. Need to go sign off early today. Have a good day and maybe see you tomorrow morning. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely be on tomorrow morning, I hope. Unless I die in a fiery car accident on the way back from St. Petersburg. Which, is always possible. It's always possible that it's not fiery. I'll say stuff like that. Why are you saying that? You're going to make it happen. I said, no, first of all, I don't believe in that. And by the way, you make things happen by saying nothing's going to happen to me. That's how things happen. Oh, really? Nothing's going to happen to you? Well, we'll see about that. you know? Something happens to you when your mouth is writing checks your ass can't cash. I hope not. I got a lot more research to do. All right, now we can get to the dripping part. Nothing's going to happen to me. Yep. Famous last words. All right. Let's find out where all these hinges are at. and then we will. Oh, geez, it's early. And then we will put some clear coat on here for the decals. As luckily, this came with the decals that I thought were appropriate. I was actually surprised I was able to stay online as long as I did yesterday when I got back from work early. A couple cups of coffee and your company helped. Equal parts of both. Man, these lights are cute. It is a bit ridiculous that they put multiple pieces for that bumper. Well, Ben, anyways, the other thing that I thought was pretty helpful about the airbrushing once I found that out is that unlike if you're thinning paint to hand paint, any paint you're going to airbrush works a lot better with its thinner, whatever its appropriate thinner. It's not going, that's a water-based paint. I'll just thin it with water. Not with airbrush. With this, yes, but not with airbrush because it just behaves. You're not having to spray that through the eye of a needle type of thing. Like this stuff's pretty gummy. I can just thin it with water and it gets me where I need to go. But I bet if I airbrushed it wouldn't be worth a damn. So that's something that it never would have occurred to me to get like AK thinner for the AK paint. Like that's just stupid. Let's just use water. But I'm usually using thinner only to clean brushes, or to use the thinner equivalent only really to clean brushes. Oh yeah, this looks nice. Now, this is one of these things that once you clear coat it, it looks better because it takes all the little bits of shine off. There's always little bits of shine here and there that you don't even realize are there. And one day, I don't know when it's going to be, but one day I'll probably tinker with oils. Because what I'm doing right now, I actually really like. It's I don't know what it is. It's like the finishing touch. But I enjoy mixing my own colors and putting my own spin on it. So like that whole triad thing. I don't know if people still do that painting. That triad painting was huge in the 90s. Oh, you just go buy this and it already has the colors pre-mixed for you. Oh, I see a muffler underneath here. A muffler was trying to escape. Let's paint a let's get our orange out. Nope. That's too orangey. This one? Yep. Orange. I mean that one would have worked too, but make some Rastafarian color. Where are the where do the decals go on this thing? Should be right here. No, that's the 2 pounder. There we go. $54. See if that's the unit I agree that I'm going to put on there. Let's take a look at my chart. I'm compiling. Let's see, where is here? Oh. Only thing I like about this computer is very limited how much hard drive space I have. I didn't design it, that's just the one flavor it came in. What's going on here? You know, I'm really bad about organizing my files. I'll put them in a subdirectory, but I just throw them all in there. I don't change the name of them or anything. Okay, that's good. Oh, here we go. All right. Yes, view these later. Stop asking me the same question that you always ask me. Yes. Okay. What is this? This is 54. 54. Light AA, Regiment AA. Yep. That's what we want to use. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, we're not going to do all this research and just blindly decide to do whatever the hell these people tell me. I got trust issues. All right, let me get some water. I'll be right back. Like I said, I'll never run out of this stuff unless I spill it. In which case, I could run out really fast. All right, let's put this clear coat on the places where this gets it. It smells like an orange Julius. All right, both fenders. And then in the back, up here, and up here, and the truck number here. I don't know that I'm going to go with that. But this doesn't hurt anything to clear coat stuff. This will disappear. And we are not putting the roundel on the roof because we got better uses for that. I don't want to put the roundel on a tarp. That's like an engine deck thing that I can put on a Sherman or something like that. Desert Sherman. Yeah, so we'll wait a little bit for that to dry. Go ahead and do the rusty drippings on here. And then we'll put the decals on. Cute little truck. these are the kind of vehicles that if I was playing something high level, like a command decision or rapid fire or something like that, this is like a vehicle that's just going to get in the way, going to get itself killed. Actually, I can't do that. I need a water for the decals. I don't want them to be contaminated with paint. This is, oh shit. Where's the little number down here? There's a little number down here at the bottom. We need to do that too. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll go mess with the German armored cars. And then we'll come back to this. And by the time we come back to this will be nice and dry. Where is it? Right here. Okay. This stuff's really hard to find. Pledge floor care finish. Worked great. And it's water based. And it smells wonderful. Will normally dry in 20 to 30 minutes. Yep. I don't have any use for that on the floor. Now we need to. Can we get by with that? Yeah, we can get by with that. We can do that. All right. Where there's hinges, there's rust. Uh-oh, where's the third number? Shit. All the way in the back. Well, we'll put that one on without any clear coat on it. See how we'll manage with that. Man, this thing's got a lot of decals for a tiny little vehicle. All right, this should be plenty of dry now. So I'm actually going to grab. See if I got one of these shims left. Just a really hard surface you can cut on. Because sometimes these decals are a lot bigger than they're supposed to be. I don't think we need microsol. I don't think we're doing anything uneven. I think it's just all microset. Start with that 54. Yeah, the decal's significantly bigger than... Oh, and this one actually has a battery marker on it. Okay, so that's the one that needs to go to the front. Okay, fair enough. Let's get a new one of these so we don't run into any issues. Thought about using that. I just wanted to trim the piece smaller. That's what we want to do. We want to hear that little snap. This is supposed to be dark blue, but man, I'll be damned if it doesn't look just like black. Okay, wer ist mein Tweezers? Always a little bit of paint or something that gets on there. Let's take these 254s. The worst thing about decals is this: you got this extra pieces of paper littering the landscape. see how these Airfix decals are. No, they changed it. It's different. Well, I'm not going to check if it's correct or not. I'm just going to go with what they have on here. But on the tanks, it's if it's on the, if it's on this side, it's on the opposite side, so that you look at it and it's always on the same thing. Wow, not wanting to slide. Interesting. Okay. It's funny. It's supposed to be dark blue, and I see black. I may have to repaint over that. Red and black is different than red and light blue and dark blue. Okay, so we are going to have to use a little bit of microsol on there. Get that to conform. Where is the paper towel? We need very, very little. Just a tiny. Oh, sure, an 8-year-old could do this. They could. And it would be a piss poor job, just as I would have done it as an 8-year-old. All right, we'll let that work its magic. Okay, let's see if we've got releasal on this thing yet. Again, the secret of all this is having the right tools, patience, and don't make any plans. Don't be like, oh, I got to get this decal done. I got to get this done for night. Look, nope. It'll get done whenever it gets done, and it won't get done sooner than that. Trust the process and don't rush the process. There we go. How far do they say they have it from the end? Although it seems right about there. Oh, they got it really close to the end. Let's see. I don't necessarily agree with that. I could go with that. This fender's so delicate. And since this is kind of roundy, I'm going to put some microsol on there as well. All right, Jeroboa time. Hey, Jeroboa. Where'd everybody go, man? I am standing here beside myself. Let's see how we got on with this. And then do the same thing over here. Let's go ahead and get the 20 as well. The 20 we'll just have to let's see what we can do here. off as well while I'm thinking about it. We don't want this to be any wider than it has to be because it's in an area that's pretty narrow. Yeah. When I was a kid, I just put the decal however it came. And then you come across a decal sheet that's all one sheet. I'd never seen that before. Not a fan of that. I prefer this. Just grab this and bring it all the way to the bottom. Okay, now go ahead and put the Jeraboas on next because they've been. Maybe these decals take a little longer to release than others I've seen. So far, the best decals I've used are the microscale ones. The microscale ones are just incredible. They make everything seem like garbage. Gabbage. It's going to be another one. It's going to need microsol on that thing. Let's close this up before we have a situation, a condition. What are you doing here? Go away. Bugger off. There we go. Come back and add microsol to that. rarely encounter a vehicle that I need to use microsol on. And of course, wouldn't you know it, it's the one that's for 8 years old. Oh, this is for an 8-year-old. Yeah, for an 8-year-old to get frustrated and never do this again. So what we're going to do in here, see if we can catch where the air bubble is on the one that's dried. And then we'll apply microsol again. This actually works pretty well. All right, close this back up. Neutralize this. All right, we've got to do the numbers now. One goes here, another one goes here, and this one goes here against the back. You go away. I don't know that I like that number, but I'm going to put it on there. I have the decal for it. Mm-hmm. Now I know why being cold is no bueno. Tried a normal Vallejo paint, dark sand, that even with enough thinner added in the metal must have been a bit cold and nearly instantly clogged the thing. Had to do a strip and clean, but all is well now. Ended up using some U.S. Desert Sand Vallejo Air, but it's quite pinkish. Didn't help. I was also being rushed around. Yeah, you'll get it. You get it. You will figure it out. The good thing is feel confident that you have an airbrush that's easy to take apart, because it is easy to take apart. And you got to make mistakes to learn how to deal with them. I've certainly had my issues with it, but I feel like I get better at it every time I do it. I have not messed with Vallejo Air. Um, I'm not opposed to buying them. They just haven't had the right sets around when I've needed them. Some people are just like, oh, they're terrible, but I think there's just too many people that they're on bandwagons. All acrylics suck. I just use lacquers and whatever. Enjoy the lacquers, asshole. Use whatever you want. I'm just not going to pass up free thinner. Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. This is actually a lot easier, the decals, and putting the thing together. This thing was challenging. About where they have it. Let's see here. About split in the middle of that top thing. Those things are too close then. See if we can move this one. Ah, you bastard rotated on me. You some bitch. It works fine from my novice experience with it. Why are you being rushed on a Saturday? My biggest pet peeve. Well, I got bigger ones, but that's just one that I don't want it being rushed. Whoa! Get out of here. And obviously we're going to weather over those decals a little bit. But for the most part, that's done. Now, I need to order decals for the Royal Horse Artillery ones, so they can be equivalent. But here's the two different tones. This is light stone, and this is Portland stone. And Portland stone's a little pinkish. Comes across a little bit more pinkish than Yeah, this is a small truck. Oh, hey, that tractor is cramped. That's a cramped tractor. And this is 176th. This is 172nd. Honestly, I don't know. People just ain't in a mood to allow the spirit to relax. And everybody's smoking pot. Doesn't make sense. I think people would be more chill. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Relax, man. Yeah, I hate being rushed. I detest being rushed. And it gets to the point where I end up rushing myself. Like if I make a video, I feel like I'm rushed all the time. Not here, but if I'm doing like an unboxing video, I feel like, man, I gotta hurry. There's a pack of wild dogs coming up my ass. You know? Carry over from the day-to-day shit. Maybe I should do unboxings with whiskey. Then I'll be chillaxed. Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of this left. Green ochre is what we used. I figured it was a safe color because it's one of the colors that's in the, it's in here. Yay! You've been appreciating my shorts? Well, lots of people watch them. I don't know. Or there's a lot of views, or there's a lot of clicking on them. Let's put it that way. I've been appreciating. Well, you would appreciate my shorts because not wearing them would be worse. Yep, I saved it. I hope. Okay. Let's get... I don't really watch shorts unless it's got some cute girl in the thumbnail. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Let's try this. Now this may not get me where I want to go. Because I screwed up the order of this. But hey, I'm going to get to find out if it makes a difference. See, look at this. This wheel is glued in, but because it's only on this little rod, it's bouncy. So we're just going to pretend this is like dust, which is that was my intention when I did this before. Yeah, I guess people like the vertical shot of the shorts. I think it's weird, but they certainly don't take a lot of effort to do. Let's put it that way. So I did find a way how to make them a minute long instead of just 15 freaking seconds. It just should be more easy to figure out. However, I noticed my video is upside down, is backwards, reversed. I'm like, fuck, you know. I hate seeing videos that are back asswards. You know, so what is it? It's like what? Did the Russians win the Cold War? Everything's written backwards. Everywhere you go, there's that backwards R and that backwards N. What's wrong with your comrade? All right, let's grab one of these turrets. That's kind of what this looked like. Maybe it doesn't make a big difference. Well, I'm going to do the smart thing, and no, I might as well do both because I want them both to look the same, like they were running together. You know, dudes on a date. But I had no idea that these were considered heavy armored cars because they have a 20 millimeter cannon as opposed to just a machine gun. I'm like, man, this is anything but heavy, but okay. Whatever you say. And these do have the little grenade things that I will put on afterwards. I got some figures coming for crew members, and I might have a guy like posing on it or whatever. I might need the grenade things open on it. Hopefully not like that. Nazi posing like that. We're off to ship you away. Let's do the center thing here, which has these little protector things for the bolts. I don't really like the way they look, but I don't design these things. Did I tell you in my search for glycerin, I asked in a local Arab-run corner shop, and the guy was like, "Oh my goodness." And then after a long 10 seconds, he said, "No, sorry, we certainly don't have any." No, you didn't. Or the correct answer would have been, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're out." That's a different glycerin, though, isn't it? I hope. No, no, no. Not the one to blow things up. The one to lube things. I was a little suspicious after that encounter. You know, the problem with any of that is that you've got any kind of group of people, and I mean any kind of group of people that come to a country, it happens here too. Just be part of, let's all be on the same team, right? I don't care where you come from. Let's all be on the same team. We're all in it together. And if you have a group of people that are like, no, we want to live here, but we don't want to have anything to do with your society, regardless of what they are, that's just bad. It's just kind of sad, you know? Um, we had some neighbors that lived 4 doors down from us, and they were from Nigeria. And the first thing I said to him, I said, when I met him, I'm like, you're not you're not an oil minister, are you? And it was lost on him, like that's an American thing, like he didn't know what that was, or maybe he was just playing. But anyways, really nice people, and it was just nice to have some folks from something completely different, just to kind of have their input. But like let's mix it up, man. Like there are some people in the Latin culture or the Latin cultures that just stick to their people from and just hang out with people that come from the country they come from. It's like, Cubans that don't get along with Puerto Ricans and Puerto Ricans that don't get along with Dominicans. And like who freaking cares, man? And that's where the problems come in. It's like, we'll take all the people with green skin and we'll put them all in this one quarter. And they're only there over there. And we have all the blue skin people over in this. It's like, come on, man. We're all in it together. Okay, I don't think I'm going to go heavier than that. I think that's about where we need to go. I know you're not allowed to comment on that. You might be labeled a right wing extremist. Nothing right wing about it. Let's all get along, man. And this is a tight fit. And the freaking photo etched roof things. These things have too many. They have all these details, and they're going to be hidden. Now, let me. I think we're going to be able to get similar to this, because we still don't have the other two dusting colors on top. Because right now, this is what I did with this one, and then I did a brown wash on top of this, and then I did the other steps that I'm going to just move on. I think that it'll probably be just fine, or will it? Let's see. Yeah, I think we're just gonna push through. We're just gonna push through. Luckily, most people I meet are good folks. There you go. Most people are good folks. Make the other guy meet all the bad folks. Okay. Let's try it. What's the worst thing that can happen? I'll find another way to fix things. Sand. This is the other color that's in the basing that I haven't based anything in a while. Well, the infantry. I've kind of lost interest in basing the vehicles. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. It just means that it kills my momentum. This is going to end up having one of those little tarp things on it. covering on the spare wheel. Ooh, I see that little box that you put the jack on. That ubiquitous thing. Yeah, this might actually not work out. I think I am going to give it a brown wash. We'll do this so they're both the same, and then we'll give them a brown wash. And then we'll come back over with this and the pale sand. Now, this is my screw up. I did it in the wrong order. I just really like the way the first attempt turned out. What gets me is bad people I've encountered end up rewarded for disruptive and greedy behavior. I know, you need a citizen's arrest in every country, man. Okay, I think we didn't do this. And we're going to end up having to take that off and put another little antenna on there. You know what? I think this is what's keeping it tight. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Just take it on one side and see how that looks. No, if there's a second one, I want to take it off also. And there's one here at the front, which is adding some friction to this, and it's not necessary. Okay. Exactly. There we go. Now we can turn this nicely. Yeah, because this color tone here, I'm not going to be able to replicate it because there's still highlighting to do, but I'm not going to be able to get this deeper one without giving it a wash. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. I actually want to use something relatively large. All right. Just dryish. All right, where is my dark tone? Nope, not mid brown. That's another thing. This one's washed with a different tone. And I like the darker one better. Nope, not light tone. Strong tone, my boy. Strong tone. I'm going to go ahead and pull these two off. Let's clip them back again. So I'm saying it's just you just can't have like this agenda like I gotta get these done in 2 hours. Like, nah, I don't need to play a game that bad if it's gonna rush me like that. That one's getting a little too violated. I need to sit down and scrub all these. This stuff all this stuff comes all comes off. A little bit of hot water and I'm gonna get this shit all over myself too. One more. There it is. Specifically here. It you're not gonna work, are you? You're gonna be difficult. Okay. Man, we're gonna need a lot more of this. It's all about contrast. Yeah. Yep. And I don't care that the underside is gray, which technically should be the dustiest. That's not what we're trying to simulate. You can't make the darkest recesses the lightest colors. It doesn't work for the look I'm trying to achieve. Okay, now we got a more similar coloration here. Ah, really? You're gonna land right there. Sons of bitches. pushing on that. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. This seat that's underneath there is so precarious. I don't even know why they put it on there. You can't put somebody in there. I mean, that's a tight spot. That's like being up somebody's colon. Face first. And then we'll stop after we're done with this stage because we have to wait for some drying to happen. Well, the only bad thing I don't, the only thing I don't like about this method is I gotta wait for this wash to dry, which could take too much time. You know, I don't want to. I'm not in a hurry. I just don't want to lose momentum. It'd be nice if I didn't have to jump around and work on different things, but there's drying time involved, so that's just the nature of the situation. I think this is a three-man vehicle. Driver, commander slash gunner, and then loader. Unfortunately, I think those Humbers weren't available for Crusader. I think it was just all Marmon Harringtons, pretty much. This is definitely looking more in line. the half track now, color wise. It's not that it has to look exactly like this, it's that this looks really good to me. And we still have work to do to it. We got panel line it and all that stuff, all that fun stuff. But anyways, this is where we're going to stop for today's session. And we'll be back on tomorrow morning, hopefully. We can finish up these little Nazi cars.